Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Now I want to take a look at the combat and gameplay, so that's balance and so on. I will probably do a separate video for the balance changes and for the change sets, because there's quite a lot of set changes. Yeah, let's get started. I already covered the werewolf stuff in a separate video. They already explained there my opinion. I will put the link in the description if you want to check it out. And also kind of have an info page on my website. I'll also put that into the description. You already can find the new sets on the SO Sets website. I will also put the link into the description, just so you know. Reducing the duration of snare and defile effects. Abilities and item sets that apply snares or defile debuffs on enemies have had their duration significantly reduced. Since most of the changes were made to damage over time abilities, you will have to recast those abilities earlier to keep an enemy permanently snared, which sacrifices some damage. Okay. I mean, sure, if they talk about dots, that might be true, but usually every shitty skill has a snare attached. Like it's so easy to gain access to snares. So annoying. It's such an annoying mechanic in this game. If it wasn't that easy accessible, you know, would be more powerful, but it's just... Anyway, most area effects, snaring abilities were untouched though, since the counterplay is just to move out of the area effect. Just to move out. Sure, okay. I guess that statement would be true if the snares would stop running the moment you leave the AoE effect, right? But most snares keep rolling for another 2 to 5 seconds. Even if you move out of the AoE effect. That's the problem here. Yeah, whatever. Increase the movement speed of all monsters summoned from abilities and item sets by 25%. That's actually good. Nice, nice. Then will now appear head when you... a visual effect will now appear over your character's head when using detection potions, Mage Light or Expert Hunter to notify other players of your ability to see sneaking invisible enemies. Okay, that's actually a good change, because as a Nightblade it kind of was impossible to tell whether the dude sees you or not. And I actually, like back in the days when I was in Cyrodiil, I always used detect posts on Nightblades, and they had no chance to actually react to it, and you just could easily kill them. Because they thought they were cloaked and you... Well, they were cloaked and they thought you couldn't see them, but if you had a detect pot, man, rip. That's good, but now that kind of makes Cloak more reliable and more powerful in my opinion. So yeah. Decrease the range of two-handed, dual-wield, one-handed shield, unarmed and werewolf heavy attacks to 7 meters from 10 meters. Okay. I mean, dual wield and one-handed shield unarmed makes sense, because the weapons are not that big. But two-handed and werewolf, you have long-ass weapons or like claws. Still should be 10 meters in my opinion. Just kind of a lazy change. Two-handed and werewolf heavy attacks should still be 10 meters, and dual wield and one-handed and unarmed, yes, 7 meters, because the weapons are shorter. Fix an issue where casting certain self-target abilities such as spiked armor, dark exchanger, imbue weapon would remove you from sneak. Okay. I didn't know that you could use channels in... Oh yeah, you can use meditate and not get revealed. Okay. Dragon Knight, so now we come to the class balance changes. Ooh, there is not a lot. I already said, like, the easiest way to not get disappointed is by not expecting anything, okay? So I'm not disappointed at all. Let's actually see what they change. This ability now also increases the damage over time component of Fiery Breath and its morphs. World in Ruin. Okay, that's cool. Not a huge change, but... yeah. Warmth. This ability now only snares targets when you deal direct damage with an Art of Flame ability. Was any type of damage. Okay, so, I mean, when you look at Venomous Claw or Burning Embers and the two morphs of the Fiery Breath, they all have direct damage hits when you cast them first. Like the first damage is direct damage. But it's still pretty easy to actually keep up the snares. Decrease the duration of the snare to 3 seconds for all ranks. But yeah, I mean, that's probably what they meant before by you have to reapply them early to actually gain the snare effect. Burning Embers has a strong heal attached to it, so usually cast that anyway earlier most of the times. Okay, I do get what they meant from the text up there before. Draconic Power. Reflective Plate. This ability now also grants 2 seconds of immunity to snare and immobilization effect. Okay. This should have been in there in the last patch already. It was a no-brainer change. I don't know, well, I know why they didn't put it in there. But at least it's here now. Is it enough? Hard to say. 2 seconds is gone very fast. But it's an improvement because 2 seconds is better than 0. So we will see. I still think this ability is way too expensive for what it actually does. Deathstroke, Incapacitating Strike. This ability now only stuns your enemy if your current health percentage is lower than the target's. Okay, that's actually cool. That's how it used to be back in the days, if I remember correctly. This is a nerf, but it's a good change, okay? Like, Incap, sure, it's only single target, but especially in Battlegrounds. You Cloak, heavy attack, Incap, goodbye, dude, you know? That's just way too strong. And this actually, you still deal the same damage, but you will not stun him at the same time. Sure, there's still other options to stun the enemy, but at least it's not that piss easy. That's a good change. Remove the snare from this ability. Good. Need to remove more snares. Oh yeah, and Stem DK, some love maybe. Stem DK this is not good anymore, okay? Since the heavy attack nerfs. Assassination. They revert. Decrease the duration of the snare from this ability and it morphs to 2 seconds from 4 seconds. Shadow Cloak. Dark Cloak. Fix an issue where casting this ability was removing you from Snake. Okay, I didn't know that. The Dark Cloak, eh? Siphoning. Decrease the duration of the snare and the Major Expedition buff from this ability and it morphs to 4 seconds from 8. Okay, sure. The refresh, the puff still has it. Zorks, Rune Cage. Decrease the damage from this ability by approximately 20%. Okay. Zenimax doesn't understand why this ability is OP. It's because you can, Jesus Christ, fucking stun dudes on the other side of the map in Cyrodiil with this shitty ability. And obviously the damage of Break Free, I don't know why it's even there. This was already so strong before they even added the damage. And when we compare this to Fossilize, Fossilize has a shorter radius or range, right? So it's kind of justified to use. You need to be close to the enemy. Rune Prison, you literally can stay in your spawn point in Battlegrounds and fucking stun the dude on the other side of the map from it. That's why it's so annoying. And obviously the combos Zorks can pull off make it dangerous in combination. Anyway. Fix an issue where dodging disobedience morphs would still apply the execute explosion. Okay. Yeah. Fix it. This is more. I mean, Mage's Fury or like this ability, both morphs. It is powerful, but only really in Battlegrounds because The scoring system is complete dog shizzle. The last damage tick gets the kill, and that's why this is so strong. Other than that, in open world Cyrodiil, sure it's strong, but when we look at other executes, they are stronger in my opinion. And the delayed damage is what makes this thing good. And yeah, in Battleground it's just because of how the scoring system works. But anyway. Templar, Stone's Rough, Radiant Strike. Increase the maximum bonus execute damage dealt by this ability and its morphs to 400 from 330%. So, Jesus Beam. Jesus Christ. We will see whether it will be worth slotting or not. Because in the past few updates, man, enemy sits at 15% health in PV. You start beaming, you lose DPS. It's like, I just started using my execute, my DPS should go sky high. No, it goes down. Simply because of how the calculations work, I don't know. And light attacks are so freaking strong in this game. You cannot do light attacks while you Jesus beam, so you lose so much damage. And that's the main issue with this shitty ass ability, with all channeled abilities. All channeled abilities completely got wrecked by the buffs to light and heavy attacks. Mostly light attacks. Light attack damage is like 30% of your overall parse. Oh, well, you use channeled abilities, you cannot do light attacks, so you lose so much damage. And the execute itself cannot make up for it in the end. Solar Flare. Decrease the duration of major defile debuff to 4 seconds from 6 seconds, sure. Solar Barrage. Remove the cast time from this ability and decrease the damage done by approximately 40%. Ah. Okay. So I like that they removed the cast time. Because this ability, when you channeled it, it felt so weird and shitty. Like, it didn't fit into the rotation. That's a good thing. I could swear to God that yesterday, here it was increased, the damage done. Because I was actually telling one of my bots, dude, they removed the cast time and increased the damage? Well, maybe I was misreading it. Yeah, okay, 40% is a pretty big hit. Still might be worth using. We will have to test that. Decrease the duration of the snare from this ability and morphs to 3 seconds from 9. Sure. And once again, guys, we have a Discord. If you're interested in Fury crafting and so on, make sure to join. We have Fury craft channels for all classes, game mechanics, and so on. Link also in the description, like always. Restoring Light, Ritual of Rebirth. Fix an issue where you could dodge the secondary heal from this ability. This really grinds my gears now. I have to ask my body. I could swear it was increased the damage done yesterday. Okay, anyway. Rune Focus. This ability and morphs now apply major ward measures and all morph effects to you direct for 15 seconds. Okay, that's cool. It's actually pretty good. So you have more mobility. Standing within the area of effect now increases the major ward and major resolve effect by 50%. Okay. So we can stand in our house, how Robble would say. That's cool, I guess. Increase the cost of this ability and restoring focus to 2700 magic from 1900. That's a pretty huge nerf. Magical Templars, especially in PvE already, well, when you log in you transform into a mech blade anyway these days, but they already had a lot of sustain issues, and now you make it even harder because you've just increased their main resource management tool. Challenge 4, increase the cost to 1 but from 1. Yeah, that's... I don't like that cost. I would rather take that away, but keep the normal cost from the last update, actually. I mean, the fact that they haven't nerfed Nightblade Sustain already tells me everything, basically. Anyway, Warden, Animal Companions, Cliff Racer. Scream Cliff Racer fixed an issue where the casting this would not orient your character to face a target. Nobody cares. Fixed an issue where this ability and its morphs did not work with the light and heavy attacks from the main wound abilities. Okay. Increase the initial heal from this ability and its morphs to 15% of your max health from 12%. That's it? 2 bug fixes? I mean, okay guys, look. Zenimax, well, usually they don't roll out all the changes at once, so we might see more balance changes throughout the patch. But Zenimax said this will be the balance, well, let's call it unbalancing, because balancing is kind of an insult at this point. It's just bug fixes. There is one change in the Warren class. So you tell me you have like 3-6 months time and you change one thing? Like I said, didn't expect anything, so I'm hardly disappointed. I'm just, you know, a little bit weird. And overall, there's not a lot of changes. There's a lot of bug fixes in it too. And especially in PV, it's mostly PvP changes actually. There's not a lot of PV stuff in here. But like I said, let's wait till this goes live and then judge. Weapon reverb. Decrease the duration of major defile debuff to 4 seconds from 10 seconds. Okay, that's nice I guess. Lacerate. Fix an issue where this event's morphs could sometimes heal you based on damage dealt from other abilities happening at the same time. Okay. Decrease the snare, arrow spray. Decrease the duration of the snare applied from this ability's morphs to 4 seconds from 6 seconds. Fix an issue where using roll dodge immediately after casting this ability or its morphs would prevent the enemy from gaining crowd control after you knock them back. Oh yeah, that was his bug, yeah, okay. Decrease the duration of major defile applied to 4 seconds for 10 seconds. Okay. Usually enemy is dead anyway in 1 second, so who cares? Vampire. Curing vampirism will now refund all skill points that are invested in skill line. Drain essence. Fix an issue where this ability and morphs would fail to cast if you use it against a crowd control immune enemy while you are blocking. Okay. Like I said, I have a separate duty for the werewolves. So, for me, there seems to be a lot of bug fixes rather than actually unbalanced changes. Yeah. But like I said, it's the first week of PTS. There might be some follow-up changes. But nonetheless, I would have well, like I said, I didn't expect anything, but I would have thought there would be a little bit more than this. Most changes are actually good, okay? Most changes are actually good. From the classes. It's just, I don't think, it should be a little bit more. And again, I could have sworn yesterday there was increased the damage done. I have to ask my body, but maybe I misread it. And anyway, let me know in the comment section below what do you think about those unbalanced changes, or like just this section of the patch notes from combat and gameplay. I will do a separate video for the items and I have a separate video for werewolves. Please make sure to not forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching and have a nice day. Cheers.